What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 8 of the Super Bros podcast. I am Candido Crespo. I'm here with Jose Ojeda, and our special guest for today is Andres Gallardo. What's up, Andy?
Gallardo. What's going on?
How you doing, brother?
Doing good. I'm doing good.
Good. So before we start getting into any topics, here's a good opportunity for us to just, kind of introduce ourselves to people who will maybe just be tuning in for the first time by just giving them a little bit of the type of things that we've been involved in over the past couple of days. So, Jose, what's new, man?
Oh, what's new? Who am I? I guess for the new audience, my name is Jose. I'm an artist and a graphic designer and a video editor. And so what's been up? I've been really wrapped up into the RNC, the Republican National Convention, I think, as all of us have been, because it's really informative. I'm not a Republican, like full disclosure, but it's something to watch, like the stake of our country. Like our country is at stake. The future of our country is at stake. And I think it's something very important to watch. And it's also really entertaining on top of that. Right. Whether that's a good thing or not, it's what it is. And a lot of people are calling it the Trump show. Which is very, I don't know. Anyway, so that's me. That's what I've been up to.
Andy, let's introduce yourself, maybe some things that you got going on. We can continue talking about other projects that you have going on as the conversation goes on, but just maybe a brief introduction.
Yeah, my name's Andres Gallardo, Art of Andres. It's been working on some murals right now, which I'm pretty happy about, and also organizing some events. And I'm pretty excited about everything that I'm doing right now, and sort of ready for this TED video finally to come out. I just got an email from the TED Talk people, and so everything's going to be tied into something beautiful that's highlighting the social issues in this country, and sort of my rebuttal towards the Republican Party sometimes. And as a whole, I'm just trying to stay active artistically.
Good.
I try to do.
Is there a date for that TED video?
As it was supposed to come out on Tuesday.
Okay.
Mine's completed, so there was 7 other speakers with me.
Okay.
7 or 8 other speakers with me that day. So it was like sort of the thing with TEDx is they're independently organized. Videos. So it's like
it's a lot to edit.
You have to get editors in a sense.
Right.
The people in charge are sponsors for the event. TED has they're involved, but it's sort of minimal in a sense. The biggest way they're involved is promotion. Once you finally have everything edited and they give it, they already okayed it, but once you have everything edited right, sponsors cleared and everything, then they'll promote it on their pages to their millions of followers. And that was the only issue that's been taking it months, is clearing some of the sponsors and getting all that in line.
So when you have the video, then we'll have access to it, and we'll gladly distribute it so other people can see it as well.
And so just to clarify, this was TEDx what? TEDx?
This was TEDx at Dinosaur Park, South Dakota.
TEDx Dinosaur Park, South Dakota. So be on the lookout for that one. And like Candido said, we'll post a link when it comes up. Cool, man.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
It's my turn,
I guess. Well, first you're drinking that wonderful drink. I think we have our first sponsor of the show.
Yeah, that's definitely not our sponsor. I will tell everybody that Bustelo came out with a new line called Bustelo Cool, which is kind of interesting because it's cafe con leche in a can and like a Red Bull size can. So I'm trying it out, and it tastes like cafe con leche. It's cold. That's exactly what it tastes like.
It's what the community has been clamoring for.
All right. So what have I been working on? As a teacher, I am totally enjoying my summer break. Spending a lot of time at the gym.
Which one?
Spending a lot of time relaxed. LA Fitness. We're giving a lot of brand shout outs here, guys. Remember that?
Oh, I meant what Pokemon gym. I thought that's what you meant by gym.
Oh, there's a water tower in the a few blocks behind my house that's also a gym that I spend a lot of time at. I am at level 18 and a half in my Pokemon Go. Spent some time with that grinding. And I'm working on a project. I'm not sure how far I want to go with it or what the goal of it is, but I am combining Black Lives Matter and Pokemon Go into a drawing series, probably an illustration series.
Genius.
And thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm going to see where it goes. I feel very comfortable with it now. I think I finally have a solid concept as far as an explanation goes as to why I would combine the both without making it seem like I'm like ridiculing the concepts.
Yes, because you have to be very sensitive.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So that's kind of a topic that we're going to get into a little later.
Sure.
All right. So that's it. The three of us, that's what we got going on. Now you know who we are.
Can I say I'm really happy the three of us are back together again?
Oh, yeah. It's been such a long time.
Man. Because when I had my previous podcast, I think this troupe right here, this trio, was like one of the first guests. So it's good.
Yeah.
It's good to have you all
we
back.
Hanging out in Ojeda's bodega.
That's crazy.
Ojeda's bodega.
And now look at it. Now the world is our bodega. Basically.
The entire world. Now we have access to everybody. Guys, so we're in the midst of the RNC that's taking place in Cleveland this week. Mm-hmm. It's actually, today's the last day. Have you guys been tuned
in? I've been briefed.
Right?
You know, so I mean, I like to watch a lot of the speeches. I find it interesting, the choices of speakers always. You know,
right.
I think that's strategic in a way. Some of the people they pick, but I've been briefed. I've said, thankful to Trevor Noah. And I've always loved those Jon Stewarts, Stephen Colbert, Bill Maher, you know, people who can give me like this brief. They have their biased opinion, of course, but it makes me go back and research if I haven't seen it and sort of watch them over again to get my own opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely it's funny because those shows start off sort of as just jokes and satire, but that's a main way that a lot of millennials get their news, you know? And like you said, it's not like they're giving you all of the facts, but they give you a glimpse of what's so ridiculous. So then later you can go and do your own research or research further onto it. But they shine a light on the ridiculous, which is a lot these days. And there's a lot of ridiculous happening at the RNC.
There's certainly a lot of ridiculous. Jose and I have been tuned in. We've been watching it because we've also been communicating during some of the speeches. So I know that he's watching it, and his Twitter feed has been blowing up with commentary every time a speaker comes in.
Oh, me? Have you been following my live tweets?
Yeah, I'm definitely following your live tweets.
Sometimes I forget people actually like read. I don't know who's been unfollowing me because it just becomes too much.
So the why, right? The why are we watching RNC? I can't say I've ever been committed to watching a Republican National Convention more than I have this particular year.
Me neither.
And a lot of it has to do with fear. This a similar fear that we've discussed many times about who our presidential candidates are. And I want to know. I want to be in the know. I don't want to be surprised by what I'm already afraid of, right? So by listening in and by tuning in, I think it gives me an opportunity to not be blindsided, but by what already has me scared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why I'm watching it. Jose, have you been in tune with RNC before?
Yeah.
And
no, actually. And I don't think a lot of people have. I mean, I'm pretty sure these are the highest rated RNCs. I'm curious to see what the DNC is going to be like, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, Trump is already such a polarizing figure that everyone's going to watch for better. Well, let's just be honest, for worse. And why have I been watching? Because it's a spectacle, and politics for me plays a similar level as the sports, you know, in terms of the engagement, and there's clear sides and winners. I mean, and people like us we have a big risk of losing a lot, you know, so the lines have been drawn. And why do I do a lot of Twitter? I do a lot of live tweeting is because I watch to see what I can pick apart or what other people are picking apart, you know, from these candidates, what they're noticing that is so obviously ridiculous and that needs to have a light shined on that.
Yeah. All right. So any speakers that have stood out to you as far as whether it's good or bad, something that you've experienced within these past few days that you feel like is either problematic or something that may actually work to Trump's advantage? I don't know. Go for it.
I could start.
I think.
Go
ahead. Well, I need to memorize this man's name because I feel like I'm constantly talking about him and constantly like attacking him whenever he says anything, not just to do with the RNC, but it's the particular African American police officer.
The sheriff.
Oh my God, that guy.
It's the sheriff.
Yeah.
I forgot his name offhand too.
So disappointing.
Yeah. So I think he's problematic, you know,
right.
and I commend his passion towards his officers to an extent, but I also think you're also the biggest thing that upset me probably in the entire of all the speeches, more than even the Melania issue, which we'll get to. But bigger was when he was celebrating. He's like, "Oh, we have a victory today." The officer in Baltimore was acquitted of all charges in the Freddie Gray case. The man's spine was severed, and you're celebrating. It's like celebrating something so inhumane. Oh, let's celebrate the fact that
we won.
We didn't get, we won. Or a more, I guess, graphic way of putting it. Let's celebrate the fact that he went game hunting and didn't get, charged for killing, a being.
We got away with it.
And it kind of like really upset me. And more than him, because this man always has this face. He almost reminds me of the sergeant from Full Metal Jacket, but just African American.
Right.
But the way the crowd responded to it, and I know everyone just has this weird energy there, but it was just, to me, it was pure hatefulness. It doesn't help this. You're a man who is voice calling, the Black Lives Matter a hate group, and people have their opinions on that, but. More than that, man, just humanity alone. Your officers. How does a man's spine get severed in your custody, and he gets acquitted from all charges, and you're okay with that? Not only are you okay with it, you decide to be on the public stage and celebrate it, and announce Blue Lives Matter. I have family and friends who are cops.
Absolutely.
I respect Blue Lives, and I pray for the safety of all of them. But I'm also not going to celebrate one who did something wrong or who was a part of it.
Yeah.
And on a stage and that platform the way that man did. I think it was disrespectful. I think it was disrespectful to the family of Freddie Gray. It was disgusting.
It was irresponsible also.
Yeah.
Because he kind of stepped out of the bounds of being an officer and a protector of and he became too political in a sense to spout his own views on the matter. Like you said, we all defend police and we all support them. They're in our families, they're in our communities, and we should respect them. But I don't think that the two are. I think you could be Black Lives Matter and support the cops at the same time.
Yeah.
But he was just so, again, back to the sports thing, winners and losers. So he's like, we won. We brought this one.
Yeah.
It instills so much resentment on the other side.
Yeah.
What about you, Jose?
A few. I'll run through them quick. Rudy Giuliani. Oh, my God. I don't understand, man. I think something happened with age, maybe. I think he's getting older and a little more free to speak his mind. It's certainly
when we reach that age that we no longer have a filter, right?
Yeah, man. You might as well just be on a porch, yelling at kids to get off of it.
Off my lawn.
Exactly how he sounded.
Exactly. It's yelling, just what happened? What? It's I don't remember that Rudy Giuliani at all. I know I was younger, but that's not the guy that I remember. And of course, 9/11 sort of elevated his, because I think people weren't very happy with him in New York to begin with. And 9/11, he was everyone's hero, and now we're no, he's still kind of a jerk. So he was a jerk. Who else was there? What happened yesterday? The one thing I will say to Trump's defense are his children. Actually, his children are all they're good speakers. Let's get away from what they actually say, because the message that they come across, they're the best speakers of the entire night.
Yeah, they keep their composure.
Weapons,
they're good, and they humanize him, and they're wow. And people are saying that they themselves could run for office one day. So they're really saving it, because everyone else, all the other speakers, are terrible, man. And Ted Cruz, oh my God, bravo to Ted Cruz. Again, I don't like Ted Cruz.
And I don't like that guy, but still,
I think he's terrible, but bravo for throwing a grenade in that, man. And that took a lot of guts. That took a lot of guts. And I wasn't even sure how much guts as it was happening. But then the whole aftermath that happened, I like that. It's good. It was good. It was a good play.
Yeah.
The sports
it was really good.
Tito.
Chris Christie. Every time I see him on stage, all I can think about is a dog with its tail between its legs, because he was utterly ridiculed during all of the debates. And here he is talking about his 14-year friendship with somebody.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man, but a 14-year friendship, if somebody treated me the way he treated him on that stage, there's no way that I would be up there bigging up my brother. It just couldn't happen. These two words in particular have bothered me about the RNC. The word keep and the word again. Those two words have been bothering me, right? So so like let's make America great again, right? So like what are they talking about? Like at one point was it great? Keep America safe, or or makes America safe again. When? Like when did these things occur? Are they specifically talking about the 1950s? Like, if they want to say that, they should just say it. Like, say the 1950s. Say there was no rights. That there was no 13th Amendment. Let's get to it. Let's stop trying to beat around the bush, because when we're talking about these keep and again, these things haven't happened for decades.
And it's not even it's not like in the year 1958 they liked certain things and then wouldn't like other shit. They'd be like, I think they're happy they have the internet right now. You know what I mean? I think they're pretty happy about 2016 and what they're doing.
And last thing, in Ted Cruz's speech, he talks about how the Republicans helped help with the civil rights, and they helped liberate slaves. I never been so pissed off listening to somebody speak. I have no idea what this man was talking about. Okay, cool. He stood his ground. Yes, I give him props for doing that, and he did it again this morning when he was addressing the Texas delegation, because I was tuned in for that.
But still, terrible person.
But so you can keep your opinions, but then also let some facts exist. Like don't start creating history. Like, come on, man. Like, Lincoln freed the slaves? No, he stopped the war. Like, all he did was stop war so that South and North would stop destroying each other and American citizens would stop killing each other. There was no slaves being freed in the process. That wasn't what Lincoln cared about. And then and to say the Republican Party has something to do with civil rights, I'm pretty sure the Republican Party might as well have been the German shepherds that were out there on the street with the, along with the hoses. They weren't necessarily the people who gave them. Anyways, that part really disgusted me, because I was willing to listen to him, and then I lost interest when he starts lying. Yeah, that's my take on the RNC so far. But I'm looking forward to tonight, because I want to see Trump take some cues from his children and stick to the script. And I don't think he could do that.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I think it might. If he sticks to the script, it's going to be boring. It's one of two things. He sticks to the script, it's going to be boring and whatever. If he doesn't, then he's going to be inflammatory and we'll have things to talk about. I guarantee you, whether it's his speech or something else, we're going to be talking about something else tomorrow morning.
I'm sure.
But anyway, that was the RNC.
The RNC, yeah.
What else?
DNC next week.
Yeah. I don't even want to think about what's going to happen.
All right, let's move on to the more recent news, right? This behaviorist that just got shot.
Yes.
So who feels the strongest about it, as far as informed?
Yeah, giving like a summary.
Yeah. And Andy, have you been totally knowledgeable?
I don't have the full, I again, I've been reading a little bit about it, but the way you guys were explaining it earlier, I like, you guys have a little more detail to the.
You are a good storyteller, Tito. Actually,
so I'll give it my best shot. Anybody who's listening, feel free later on to comment, to correct us. We are, as our listeners know, we're totally open to critique, and we don't claim to know everything. So in the news, my wife told me that another black man had been shot, but this time it was a little different. There was. Did we say Down syndrome or autistic?
It was autistic.
It was autistic. Okay. All right. So a behaviorist ran out in an attempt to really stop and bring one of his clients back into the facility that they were in. And because the client was running around screaming that he's going to kill himself, and somebody called in saying that he was running around with a gun in his hand. The so-called gun was a toy truck. It wasn't a gun, and allegedly it was very visible that it could be a toy truck. Upon the cops' arrival, chaos as usual, and the behaviorist is the one who actually ends up getting shot.
So that's
mishandled.
That's a summary. Black guy got shot. No weapons involved at all. Obviously at fault, the cop. He even put up his hands. You can see footage of him like putting his hands up, being like, "Please don't shoot me." And the difference is here, there is no stop. You know, there's no like car stop. There's no actual crime being committed. Right. And what was the other one? The other difference, he survived. That's big.
Yeah,
that
he didn't die.
That's huge.
That he did not die. Because I didn't. I stay up with news, but I had to hear this from, like, you heard it from your wife. I heard it from my wife too. Yeah. It was hidden. It was buried. And even then, like, a few people reposted it, but it didn't have the same kind of power behind it, like the hashtag, the momentum to it, when clearly there was something wrong. And I think, Andy, when we were talking earlier, you brought up a good point about why this didn't get as much kind of attention to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel that when the media or those who rebuttal Black Lives Matter or people protesting, police brutality, can't have a way to fight back, or they don't have a place to justify their side, then there's not going to be as much coverage. Mind you, I have a lot of friends who are part of the Black Lives Matter movement, who I saw share this a lot. Like, I feel like I wouldn't have seen it if it wasn't for them. And they said something so beautiful, and not beautiful, but in a sense, it's like out of anger. They were like, I don't care if some people say, well, he lived, I'm still angry.
Oh, absolutely.
So the main thing is, but he lived, so let's ignore it because everything's cool.
Yeah.
He didn't kill him. He still shot at him.
It's like he lived. Thank God he lived.
Yeah.
So if he was dead, of course, we flooded. It'd be another case. There's still protests going on, but it'd be a heightened situation. But it should be still a heightened situation because the man shouldn't have been shot,
And it also comes at the heels of so many more of these, right? This is like just
so many.
Like I don't have any more fingers to count of how many happened, And just when we think that it's over or we can relax for a little bit, another one surfaces and pops up. Right. So I'm wondering to what point we're getting tired,
of talking about it.
No, not of talking about it. It's just like how to react, right? Let's say this was an isolated incident that happened 4 months ago. We probably would have been up in arms that this had happened, but now it's like, So I almost feel like the fact that he lived, a lot of people were almost relieved. Not, and it's not to blame them for that, but they're kind of relieved.
I know what you're saying.
God, he lived.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired. And not saying I don't want to keep fighting, but I am tired because I've been fighting day and night for the past month and a half.
So I think we aren't necessarily our generation isn't necessarily a protest. Isn't a protest generation. We have protested, but our lives have not necessarily depended on it. Okay, and I think that when you start with the Black Lives Matter thing is. It's exhausting, when these situations happen back to back because you are putting yourself in a predicament that we haven't been equipped for, right? We haven't spent many months, many years protesting things out loud or attending rallies. That's not something that we have always done because we have privileges that generations before us have not had. I could totally see how at this point it could be exhausting, and the fact that this man lived gives us an opportunity to just stay home for the night.
Well, I think in a weird way, like when comparing it to, I guess, the civil rights movement till now, I guess the numbers, there's a drastic difference, but the reason being is technology and social media. Now, we had to march so people would believe us in general. Because they were talking about things that no one else was seeing seeing enough to believe. Felt. Now, we're showing everybody, evidence, whether they believe it or not, whether they want to rebuttal us, and that to some people is protesting in itself. Just sharing, clicking the share button, and we criticize a lot of those people, but in a sense, I do think they're part of it. I wish in a perfect world that we do both. Because we say for years and years we haven't been protesting, and I guess for an extensive amount of years, but I was thinking back, how Facebook shows you like a throwback. Oh, in 2003, we were doing this. Well, the other day it popped up where was it? 2012, I want to say 2011.
Was that Occupy?
And I went. No, I went to remember going to Occupy, but the first civil rights moment that I remember that shook up my life was Trayvon Martin.
Right.
And going out there.
I remember
those photos of.
I remember you were out there. Yeah, you were there spray painting
in Times Square, right?
In Union Square.
Union Square, right?
Marching towards Times Square. The first year I went on my own. The second year I brought people because I wanted them to experience that and break them away from just being a social media protester, which like I said, I find them all important. It's just I think that's what maybe has cut the size of us being a protest generation. I still think we are.
Yeah.
More so than ever, in the sense that we talk about it more now, and we share it more. And here's Mikey.
What's up, Mikey?
Mikey,
thanks for the car.
Up? I'm actually in his car. Thanks.
That's fair. Appreciate the time, man.
Okay, give me a second, all right?
Yeah, no problem.
I'm taking it aside.
All right. I think I do want to get into the topic of the artist role. But just as we're waiting for Andy to return, so he could join us in that conversation. Did you, when you were in school as an undergrad, was the protest culture evident?
We had a few, all right. So, and I think it comes in waves because you hear your alumni always talk about, like, back in my day, we marched up and down to get X and X right, or we fought for this building, and it goes in waves. It goes in waves of activism, and then you achieve something, and then some time where you kind of enjoy that. And then things get bad. And so it always comes in waves. So I got into one wave towards immigration. Immigration was a big deal.
Was it the May 5th? Was it the May?
Maybe. It was it was a while ago. Okay. But I remember marching around campus, and man, it was so heated because we got into it with, like, the college Republicans and stuff. And we had to have, like, forums and discussions and stuff. And it's so polarizing, man, because you just feel a visceral, like, not even so much hatred towards the other side, but it's like life. I don't want to say life or death, but you feel like personally attacked. When they go after issues of immigration, you feel personally attacked because people in your family who are immigrants. You might be an immigrant yourself. People who are undocumented. So that stuff, I take that very seriously, or very personally.
In our case, it was our brothers.
Yeah.
We're talking about people who were
literally our fraternity brothers.
Yeah, our fraternity brothers.
So it's hard to not be biased, I suppose, in that sense.
We had that. There were a few protests that took place in SUNY New Paltz, and it's been known for a campus that's pretty active. But I kind of stood away from it once I realized that certain groups were taking advantage of the moment. So, like, let's say we were protesting something regarding the president's stereotypical remarks about a particular group of people. Somehow, some way, Normal would find themselves in the protest talking about normalizing, legalizing marijuana. And then that somehow becomes, hey, what's up, homeless? How you doing? That becomes a topic that's being debated in a protest where something else is trying to be addressed, and they're not necessarily the same thing. Sure. Not at that moment, anyway.
People try to capitalize and get their issue across.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Andy. Here's the topic. Yeah. We talked about all these things: RNC, Black Lives Matter, protest culture, and the three of us here that are that are in the podcast right now are all artists. So, what, in your mindset, is the artist's role in all of these matters?
It's funny. One of the, I guess, giving you guys a glimpse before the TED video comes out. One of the main, because I spoke about being an artist and being an artist who uses art for activism as well. Mm-hmm. And one of the most important artist voices to me was Nina Simone. Much later when I learned about her. But she said something that was beautiful, and she said it's the artist's duty to reflect the times. Mm-hmm. Whatever is going on in that case, whatever you really feel passionate about, because there's going to be people on the other side creating work that reflects the time and, like, sort of capsulates sort of what's going on.
Sure.
And so yeah, I think art unifies people. By experience of being out there, where there had been in the beginning with Trayvon, and I remember again going back, I went from Freddie Gray, but to change it off of that, I remember going for Venezuela, when what was going on in Venezuela protests. Mm-hmm. And there's sometimes this impacting image you can create, right, that unifies people all together. So I remember seeing this image of one of the Miss Universes, or Miss Venezuela, who was shot and killed while protesting, and her friend put her over his lap and then rode the scooter to try to make it to the hospital to save her. She passed away. So I created something that was really heavy. But then when I went to the protest, painting over 100, 200 of those, and then you look around and you see that it almost gives it a face, you know, gives everybody this unifying voice.
Right.
I think that's sort of how we can help with it. Not everyone has to use it in that sense. But it's the way that I found through my, I guess, method of working with stencils and how I can create for the masses. And it just felt like it felt perfect for those moments. You know what I mean?
So to give the audience sort of a clue as to a little background onto how you work, you do a lot of stencil work, right? So you make handmade stencils, and then you can spray them on signs, on T-shirts,
everything,
or everything. So what you've been doing is essentially giving the protests, because you go to these protests and marches, you give the people a tool, like you said, you're giving them and providing them a voice, because they're there, and not everyone has a sign, not everyone really is prepared to display what they want, right? And so you're like, here, like, I know what you're trying to say, please let me help you. And that's what you've been doing, and that's awesome, man. That's excellent.
Well, I also think it's like you can change. I don't know if it's the narrative or what I'm trying to say, but like, for example, the media painted out Trayvon, as they do a lot of black men. Right. They won't put their graduation photos. They won't put, you know, the fact that he was a veteran. Now they'll put the hoodie up. They'll put the, you know, and they'll represent it as a hoodie. The second time I went, when we heard that George Zimmerman wasn't being tried at all, I decided to take a picture of that. It looked like his mother took of him, and it was just him smiling, because it's to remind the public in the country of this was innocence. You know, we've all done something wrong, but it was a child. At the end of the day, a child was being, you know, got murdered by not even a policeman. Right. You know what I'm saying? By somebody who didn't follow the rules, and then gets to walk away from this and continue to do stupid shit in America. So
for years. Oh, what
for years. So here comes when being creative and changing it all up comes into play. When you decide, listen, I don't want to paint the hoodie anymore. Yeah. I don't want to create this image that the media chooses so the country can look at him like a criminal. No, I'm going to show you him smiling with a Hollister shirt. And show that he could have been your child. Absolutely. I don't care, white, black, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, he was still a smiling kid in his prime, just growing up, walking home. So we can do that with these images that we create, whatever sketches we can create. We can change. You know what? Yeah, we can change the narrative in a way.
And they absolutely paint. So the media paints one narrative, right? Yeah. And anyone of a certain mindset, let's say, is desperate for that narrative, will eat it up. Like, totally. He's a thug. He's wearing a hoodie. You know, they're looking for any excuse. So it's like, we almost have to act quickly, right? Artists and activists, you have to act right away.
It has to be immediate.
And I think Trayvon Martin was a big one that sort of kind of taught us a lot. I think we learned a lot from that one specific case on what because we saw it play out from beginning to end, right? From beginning to what happened, not really sure. The media trying to give us one narrative and one story, and then all the way through trial and eventual acquittal. So I think we learned a lot from that. I think we're becoming better. You know, we had the Occupy movement, and then now with the Black Lives Matter, I think we're being better at being faster to react at these things. Yeah. So, which is good, which is all great.
Jose?
Yes.
What's the artist role in all of this?
Oh, wow. What is the artist role? Pass. I'll do just like Michigan. Did you see that part where he was getting?
I did see that.
Nominated. God, I wish I could nominate my dad for being president of the United States.
Right? Just like that, man.
Yeah, just like that. My daddy, Donald Trump. I will pass. I might need a second to think about that.
Okay. So I have just a slight idea about it. Because I don't respond immediately. Not normally, anyways. I kind of like the idea of the approach where, well, I feel comfortable in knowing that the artists exist like Andy that will address immediately. But I need a little bit more time with it. I need to consume it, and then I need to spit it back out in a way that I feel most comfortable doing it. So so I want my art to serve as a reminder, right? So like, hey, this happened 3 years ago. Don't forget. I want that kind of artwork to serve as a reminder. So maybe writing history. So maybe an artist as a historian. Maybe that approach. However, that project that I have going on now, I'm trying to do the capturing the time moment, right? So this Black Lives Matter is super significant right now. And then by combining it with Pokemon Go, I mean, what is more international than those two things right now? You know, like people are identifying with both. It's easy to be distracted by it, be distracted by either one, right? I mean, so by combining them, that's definitely capturing the now. So I'm trying that. I'm trying something different. I want to address the right now.
I think my thoughts on it are somewhere in between both of you guys. So Andy, if we can put you as the immediate reaction, right? And then Candido as more of like a artist historian. I think I'm looking for sort of an in between, you know, because for me at least, if I think about it too long, I'm not going to do it. You know, I'll overthink it. I'll overthink what's the piece. What is it? Is it a perfect message that I'm trying to craft so that, you know, not everyone's not like, you know, it's sensitive because a lot of these things are very sensitive and you don't want to ruffle the wrong feathers. But you know what? I'm tired of that. And I think I need to work faster and get more thoughts because it's art, you know? And you know what? If I don't get it right the first time, then debate me on it, right? Let's start a conversation, at least become aware.
So isn't there that idea that if it doesn't make you uncomfortable, it's not art?
Maybe I think I've heard that before.
Andy, have you heard that before?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or you know, if it doesn't make you have a reaction, that it's not art.
It's very funny because sort of, you know, to bring it back a little bit to even the presidential campaigns, it all ties together. But when I finished doing the mural of Bernie Sanders on Malcolm X Boulevard, there were people who loved it, right? But there was a lot of people who hated it.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, people who were, and I get it because I know the figure who Malcolm X is. I'm not comparing Bernie Sanders to that man, you know, to the figure Malcolm X is at all. But people responded, you know, and I'm like, you know, it's good. Have a discussion about this.
Sure.
You know? It could be as literal as I painted Bernie Sanders on Malcolm X Boulevard. Therefore, I wanted to not pay homage to Malcolm X first, which is what I did.
Right.
You know, and also create a discussion. But it does that, you know, and I think it should create discussion more than make people uncomfortable. It's going to, regardless.
Okay.
And with your project, Candido, I think it's definitely not just like a double entendre of a project, meaning that you're creating something that's connecting so many people right now with Pokemon Go, and then bringing up the conversation of something that's separating so many people at the same time.
Yeah,
you know, so what I mean by that is like Black Lives Matter, as beautiful of a, you know, as a group as I think they are at the core. I don't mean what the media is claiming these shooters to be the bad apples, because as someone who totally stands by them, I don't think those people have anything to do with it. I don't think they have anything to do with Black Lives Matter. They can say the name, they could try to, like, you know, taint it. It's like saying, I think, you know, all cops are bad because of these two bad apples. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, but I think it's beautiful what you're doing with that project.
Thanks.
And at the same time with Jose, I think there's an artist who was the reflecting artist, you know, the one who reflects about the moment, about the time, and some of us, I guess, are just really impulsive and just like jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
but you need
not always a good thing.
But you need all kinds, right? Because you need it to sustain.
You need it.
You need it immediately. You need reaction, and then you need someone to kind of figure things out, and then you need something to remind you that, hey, listen, this is an important thing that just happened and that we went through.
Right.
So, yeah, man, and it's great being around you guys, around in this cybersphere, right? So I'm super blessed that we got to know each other and that we're still kind of like kicking it, you know. So I'm happy.
Sure.
I'm proud of you guys, and let's keep motivating each other, you know.
Totally.
Yeah.
So Jose, we've reached that time.
What are we now? Like 40 something minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We can continue the conversation. We can continue the conversation. So Andy, if you would like to stick around, by all means stick around, but we're going to be ending the recording here. This has been episode 8 of the Super Bros podcast. I think Miguel is coming back next week.
Wow. That's cool. That's awesome.
I would love for him to come back because we love his input and we love him.
Yeah. Andy, thanks again, and can't wait to have you on again because this was great. This is a great show. Yeah. Anything else, Dito?
No, that's it. RNC tonight, right? I'm sure we're gonna have some substance for next week.
That'll be fun.
For sure. Now you got to get ready for the DNC, right?
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Be safe.
See you guys next week.
And stay powerful. Bye, everyone.